Thank you. And that was a great talk. That was amazing. My slideshow's a little less organized. It doesn't really have to go with what I'm saying so much. And all the pictures were taken by this lovely lady right here in the front. So you like them, yeah? All right. Well, so my talk is a different outlook on self-healing. So trying to change the way we look at healing ourselves, both physically and mentally, kind of shifting from trying to heal ourselves once we're already sick to creating a body that can heal itself both physically and mentally on its own. But before I get into that, I want to give a very brief introduction. This is me. My name is Myles. I just got back from FSU where I studied physics for about 4.5 years. I've been practicing yoga for 5, teaching for 3. I have a black belt in Yoshikai Karate, so I've really dedicated some time in my life looking at how movement, both of the mind and the body, starts to affect how we grow, how we perceive different things. And the first thing that I started to learn is that the mind and body are really not separate entities. The more I started to realize this, I'd find that physical tensions create mental tensions create physical tensions, and so I was seeing this interplay between the two. And so what do we mean by a healthy body? So kind of shifting this idea from, again, something that you take a pill or a surgery to fix it, to developing a body that can heal itself on its own. So something that whenever it gets a cut or a scrape, it can heal itself, again, physically and mentally. And so the analogy I like to use is with a cut. Whenever you get sliced open, you clean out the bacteria, clean out the dirt, and it heals itself on its own. There's not much you need to do. And so the question is, can we do this mentally as well? Can we create an environment in which we can heal ourselves mentally? And the answer is definitely yes. We just have to start to clear out all these stress hormones that we're constantly living with. And these are not bad, but so many of us live just flooded by them all the time. And so the big way that I address this is through movement. So I kind of broke it into 2 categories, intense and mellow movements. So starting with the mellow ones, this is like yoga, slow martial arts, not the fighting aspect of it, but kind of the methodology of it. And we start to find that in things like yoga, a lot of the stuff we do is engaging the parasympathetic nervous system. So this is the part of the nervous system that allows us to relax, allows us to heal. And one way that yoga does this is just through the movements themselves and the breath themselves. So whenever we breathe in through the nose, there are actually hairs in the nose that when they activate, they engage the parasympathetic nervous system. They tell the body you're in a safe place. And this makes sense evolutionarily. If you were in a situation in which you needed to get out of quickly, you're in danger, you would definitely be breathing through the mouth, and you'd be breathing very shallow through the chest as well. And so whenever we deepen this breath like we do in yoga, they call it the yogic breath, breathing through the belly, the ribs, the chest, this full inhale, this tells the body you're safe because you don't do this when you're in danger. And so you can kind of reverse engineer this to calm the body down and put it in a state where it can begin to heal itself. Same thing with the postures. So I might be running a little fast here. A couple of the slides are along with it. So whenever we do stuff like heart openers, so you open up the chest, a big opening, normally this part is something you need to keep closed off. This is something that you don't expose because this is dangerous. If this gets hit, you're done. And so whenever we do this, whenever we open up, this is telling the mind that we're safe. And alternatively, whenever we close off, you meet people, tight shoulders, everything's kind of bundled in front of them, they're arched forwards. This is a kind of a stature of fear and resistance to the world around you, and this manifests itself mentally as well. So whenever we start to kind of open everything up, very much literally opening up the heart, just spreading the chest, you start to find that the mind does the same. And also talking about the intense side. So this is me making a funny face trying to catch a Frisbee. We need this as well. We need the body to be engaged in the sympathetic nervous system. So this is the fight or flight. This is whenever something startles you and you just respond immediately. And it's important that we become familiar with this because we can feel the fist clench, the muscles tighten, the jaw tighten, and we start to feel these physical responses to the environment around us. And once we can realize this, we can start to be less reactive. We can start to kind of slow down a little bit. So when that car in front of you cuts you off, you feel your hand squeeze the steering wheel a little bit more and you kind of mellow out a little bit. And it's important that we can do this because once we understand the different aspects of our nervous system, we can kind of use them to our advantage. So you see weightlifters do this kind of thing. Before they get to a heavy set, they kind of bow up, they start to breathe heavy from the chest, they start to kind of hit themselves a little bit and make loud noises. This is engaging the sympathetic nervous system, trying to get their body in this fight or flight mode where they have more strength, they're more active. And so that's kind of the goal, is to differentiate between these two and learn when each one is useful. Because if we're always in this fight or flight mode, our body is so flooded with these stress hormones that we cannot heal. We cannot get this dirt out of this cut, so our body does not ever take this time to just kind of settle in. And I don't know if any of you guys know Sydney. I just got to say shout out, most beautiful human I know. And she very much embodies this kind of, this relaxed mentality that just is, it's powerful. And you see somebody that is not trying to avoid the cuts and bruises, but is trying to experience them, but let their body grow through them. And I think that's really the important space. And we can also take different mental activities as well, such as meditation. Sitting still, feeling the cold, the air. The legs start to get sore. I don't know if anybody ever tries to sit still for 20 minutes. It's hard. It's really hard. And the body starts to tell you to move. And we try to work this down, settle it back down. And again, this is telling the mind that we do not have to be so reactive. Other mental activities, such as studying black holes, which I did a little bit of in FSU, it engages a part of the mind that kind of, it's horrible. It's really fun, but it's horrible at the same time because it's tiring, it's exhausting. You have to keep doing it. And these are the states that we're trying to engage in the mind so we can relax into them and kind of allow the body to experience these uncomfortable scenarios. I think this is my last slide. I'm not actually sure. Yeah. So that's it. Thank you guys very much.